So I've been playing a lot of chess lately, specifically chess.com. I don't know, I enjoy the game, but I've just never been really good at it. And that's fine, I mean, it's not for everybody. And I'm not being humble or like modest or anything when I tell you that. I'm sincerely telling you that I suck at chess. I have played thousands of games since I was a youthling, and I've never won a single game in my entire life. You need to be really smart to be good at chess, and that's just not an ability that I possess, and that's fine. I've come to terms with that. I'm good at other things, like, you have to be really intelligent to be good at chess. You need to be in your opponent's head. You need to be 3, 7, 12 steps ahead of your opponent at all times. That's just, it's difficult for me. I can't even remember what I ate for breakfast this morning. How am I supposed to do that? I play chess the way that I live my life. I'm very sporadic and I don't really think about the consequences when I make a decision. Basically, I pick a piece, and while my hand is suspended in the air for that split second, I'm like, this is probably not a good move, but I do it anyway, and the game's over. I think the fastest game of chess I ever played, I lost in like 2 moves. But, I don't know, I've always liked it. My aunt taught me how to play when I was a kid. My aunt was a chess goddess. She was incredible, and every time we played, she would beat me. Every time. And I never understood why. Like, I was like, I think I get the game. You just have to take out their king and you win. I thought that was all there was to it. I didn't know there was all this strategy and like messing with people's minds. I was like, okay, you know, like the pawns move forward, simple, I get that. The pawns are lame, I'm probably never going to use them. The towers can, very mobile, they can move wherever they want, in a forward and sideways and backwards and sideways manner. The horses move in L's, which I thought was weird because as far as I know, chess is supposed to be like a metaphor for like war and strategy and battles and like axes and stuff, but I just thought it was weird because I was like, okay, well if I put it into perspective, why are these horses moving in L formations? Then I was like, okay, are the horses injured? Perhaps like they weren't trained properly so they can only veer left and right after a little while? I don't know why these kings decided to use defective animals in their war, but to each their own. The things next to the horses, they look like the pipes on the top of steamboats. They can move wherever they want diagonally. The queen is the best. The queen can go anywhere that the queen wants. The queen is probably the most powerful piece in the entire game, which I found odd because it's also the only female piece in the entire game. But it's the best. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, feminists, because this game is much older than you. The king always really made me angry because the king is the most important piece. You could lose all of your other pieces, as long as you have the king, you can still play. But the king can only move 1 space in any direction. Like, it's pretty much like an evolved pawn. And I just thought that was really lame, because it's like, this is supposed to be like the king. Like, the king should be able to do like a triple backflip, make him twist over the entire game board and just wipe out the other pieces. That's how I would win if I could do that, but I can't. That's an illegal move. Maybe it's another metaphor, like maybe they're trying to say that the king is no better than the pawns because we are all humans. I don't know. But I've always liked chess, and I've been playing a lot of chess. And on my way to the grocery store, I saw a flyer on the bulletin, and it said there was a chess tournament being held in my city, and I was like, well, I've been playing chess, I should enter this. I kept reading, winner gets $5,000. I was like, wow, I'm an unemployed loser, and I mooch off of my best friend. I should enter this. That way I can pay him back and be awesome. So I entered, and I didn't really expect to win. I didn't really expect anything. But I just kind of wanted to have fun. I just wanted to experience the chess community and just have a blast. But the next day I showed up, and the people running the tournament told me that I was in the semifinals because the 2 people that I was facing didn't show up. I don't know if they got bird flu randomly or something, but they just did not show up. So I got to the semifinals. I was like, nice. I only have to beat like 3 people, and then I win. However, it occurred to me that I'm playing against people that are probably really good at chess because they entered a chess tournament. First match for me, I'm against this 14-year-old Korean kid. I figured I'm definitely going to lose because 1, he's Korean, and 2, because he's Korean. His parents, when they popped him out of decided you are going to be a chess player. That is your mission in life. You will excel at this one thing, and nothing else matters. I'm his opponent. I got to go first, so my first move, I moved the left corner pawn in front of the castle, and he looks at me like... It then takes him 8 minutes and 23 seconds to make his next move. I looked because there's a timer. Then I moved the piece next to that one, and he does it again. Then it takes him another 7 minutes to move his next one. It then occurred to me that this person is sitting here calculating and factoring the outcome of every single move that I make and trying to counter it. It then occurred to me that there are probably a lot of people like this in this tournament, and they're all like professional players. They're assuming that I am also a professional player, so I decided to take that to my advantage and just start screwing with this kid. So I just started making like weird patterns on the board, and about an hour into the game, like this kid's bouncing his knee and like shaking, and little beadlings of sweat are forming on his hairline, and I'm like, wow, like he's really freaking out. He's about to make his move, and I look down and I just smile and look back up at him, and then he kind of like puts the piece back and looks at me, and then he looks at the board, and then he goes back, and then he makes another move, and he looks at me, and I just laugh. I'm like, no, go ahead, move your piece, go ahead, it's fine. It's fine. Clearly he thinks that I know something he doesn't know, and he starts freaking out, he starts hyperventilating, and he passes out. And they can't revive him. He's life-flighted to the hospital, and I win my match. And I'm cracking up because as I look down at the board, I'm laughing because I had moved all my pieces into the formation of a penis and I won the game. Semifinal round. Round 2 for me. I'm against this like 60-year-old guy with a comb-over, pedo glasses, the whole 9 yards. This guy has clearly been playing for a very long time, and he's confident. I am opening again, so I do the same move, and he raises his eyebrow. And it wasn't until after the tournament was over that I Googled and realized that that's probably, like, arguably the worst move that you could do in chess. And here I am in this tournament doing it. So these people probably think that I'm just like this arrogant little bastard who's doing this just to mess with them. And I'm just like, okay. He makes his move. I do the same move I did last time, move the one next to it, and he just kind of... We're going back and forth for a while. Eventually I managed to move like my entire unit of pawns forward, and he starts taking them out. And I'm not taking out any of his pieces. So he starts doing like these sacrifice ones where like he'll sacrifice his bishop so he can kill me with his queen, but I just kind of keep moving pieces and not taking any of them out. Finally he's like, okay, time out. We're going to play chess or you just got to dance around the board? What's going on here? I said, sir, I'm a strong follower of the Buddhist belief, and violence is not the answer. I'm not here to make war. I am on a diplomatic mission. I am here to offer you a peace treaty. We can both resign this game right now, and we'll call it a draw, and everything will be good. This guy is mad. He just shakes his head and moves his piece. We're going back and forth, and eventually it gets to the point where he's about 2 moves away from totally destroying my king and winning. He's got his queen here, my king's here, and I've got a castle right here. Naturally, I move my castle all the way in front of his queen. I could have taken it out, but I didn't. I said to him, let this be a warning to you. And this guy, he gets so mad that he smashes the game board with his fist and dislodges the pieces, and he gets disqualified, and I win. I couldn't believe it. I'm now in the final match. Incredible. However, I was a little out of my league here. The final match, I was against a Russian guy. I don't know why, but I guess Russians are really, really good at chess. This guy's got the slick back hair. He's ready to go. He puts his hand across the board to shake mine. I'm like, okay, so he's a sportsman. And he says this to me. He says it in a Russian accent, but I can't do Russian, so I'm going to do Spanish instead. He says, I've been seeing you play, man. You're good. But you're not that good, man. You're going down. And I look at him confidently and I say, we'll see. So, instead of doing my usual opening, I move the pawn right in front of the king. Because I've been seeing other people do this, so I figured it's a good move. He looks at me and goes, makes his move. Then I move the king out from behind that pawn, and then he kind of gives me like an eye, but moves another piece. Then I move the king sideways, and about here he figured out what I'm doing. Several times he could have just won the game and ended it, but he didn't. He let me move my king across the entire map because he's a sportsman. He wants to win fair. He even like moved his pieces out of the way so I can move my king to the back line, and he moved his king right next to my king. And he says, all right, man, what do you got to say for yourself? And I said, what do I have to say? Checkmate. And then I won the game. I won the tournament. And he looks at me and he goes, that's not fair, man. I trusted you, man. That's like a kick in the balls. And he says to him, you know what? It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning.